What's going on, guys? Ryan Nelson here, and this is part 2 of me taking a deep dive comparing the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K versus the EOS R paired with a Ninja V recorder shooting 10-bit C-Log. I wanted to get a handle on both of these cameras and see which one is going to be right for me on my 5-day backcountry trip where I'm not going to have any chance to recharge batteries, dump data, anything like that you normally have on your regular shoot. So everything I'm gonna have to carry with me, make sure I have enough hard drives, make sure I have enough batteries. In this video, I'm comparing more of the physical side of those logistics. If you're more interested in the quality, go ahead and check out this video up here where I compare image quality in ProRes and HQ and do a bit of a deeper dive into the image quality on both of these cameras. So let's dive right into this video and get into the setup on both of these cameras. So to set these up, what we need, first of all, we're gonna start off with the EOS R. We need, obviously, the EOS R. Next thing we need is something to connect the EOS R to the Ninja V. In this case, I'm using a small cold shoe mount ball head. So I'm gonna take my Ninja V, screw that right onto the cold shoe mount. I'm gonna mount that straight to the EOS R, make sure that's connected nice and strong, just like I need it. Need an HDMI cable to connect these two up together. So got my HDMI cable. Need a battery for the Ninja and then a hard drive. So that's my setup for the EOS R. It's not super small, but it's also not very large. It does feel pretty well balanced, feels really nice and stable in here. One benefit of having this setup is the EOS R does have a digital image stabilizer, so I've already got some stabilization. This isn't very heavy, so it does kind of shake around a little bit. So that's the setup with the EOS R. And then to set up the Blackmagic camera, if you have a bunch of Canon batteries and you have some CFast cards, legit, this is all the setup you need. But I do not have CFast cards, and I find that my SD cards aren't fast enough to write 6K RAW. Surprise, surprise. I only get a few seconds of recording time on an SD card. I don't have CFast cards. I find that they are just obscenely expensive. That's my preference. I hear great things about them. So I use SSD drives. So what I'm gonna do, I've got this cage on here. I've got this SSD drive mount. So I'm gonna add my SSD drive to it. I'm gonna make sure I get my cable in there because it's gotta talk to the SSD. Boom, there's my SSD. Now I'm still running on Canon batteries at this point, so I get a very limited runtime on these batteries. Now, if I don't want to be swapping batteries out every 30, 40 minutes, I want to add a bigger battery pack to this. So for that, I need a few things. First, I'm gonna need a rail setup. So let's add that to it, lock that down. Then I'll need somewhere to mount my battery. And that I've got a little cheese plate with a rail mount and then a gold mount battery mount attached to that. So that is going to attach straight to my rails, lock that down. And then I've got my extra power cable to power from that battery. Then I need my gold mount battery. As you can see, this setup is getting rather large, rather fast. So now I'm set up with a larger battery. This thing is gonna power this Blackmagic camera for several hours, half a day, depending on how you use it. The downside of doing it like this is, one, it's starting to get pretty heavy like this. So I'm going to add a top handle to help carry the load. So I'm gonna add my top handle up here. Fits right in the cage. So here's where we're at with this setup right now. This top handle is helping carry the load of this. It's making this easier to carry, making it more well balanced. So this is where this is at. One downside to shooting like this is it's starting to make the screen really hard to see, because if you want to shoot and see the screen, you're going to be shooting like this. And it's not the best position to be stable and shooting. I want to be more like this. So I'm down, but I can't see the screen when I'm shooting like this. So now I need to attach a monitor to it somehow. I'm going to steal this Ninja V over here and mount this up to this camera. So I'm going to pop that off. Okay, locked down. But now I need to get some data to that, so add in an HDMI cable, pop that over in there, and there we go. So obviously this setup is looking much bigger than this setup was looking with the Ninja V on top. So this or this? I think the EOS R is gonna win out. It's a much smaller setup, much lighter. So even with the monitor mounted to the EOS R, this is a way lighter setup than this. This or this. So this setup is looking pretty good, but I'm not sure I want to take this for 5 days out in the backcountry, carrying all this weight and extra batteries around with me. With both of those setups, the EOS R paired with the Ninja V weighs in at about 4.5 pounds, as to where that Blackmagic setup with the Ninja V monitor on there as well came in at just over 9 pounds. So that's a huge difference. Next thing I wanted to talk about was the battery life with both of these. I didn't test the Blackmagic with that bigger battery, but I do know that I can shoot for maybe half a day on that one battery, give or take scenarios. I would need a lot of those to get through a 5-day backcountry shoot. But to keep this fair, I wanted to compare just shooting with the standard LPE6 Canon batteries on both of these cameras. Since both of these cameras do take the same battery, it's pretty convenient to see which one will last longer on this one battery. I have a good idea, but I'm gonna put it to the test anyway. So to do this test, I set both of these cameras up on a tripod with roughly the same focal length. Now I did this several times with the Blackmagic just to see if the different quality settings would affect battery life. Depending on shooting 6K RAW or 4K DCI, everything came in at roughly 37 minutes. I was getting per battery 37 minutes. The Canon, so here's the thing about the Blackmagic and the Canon. This battery lasts 37 minutes in the Blackmagic. Hit record at the same time. This battery died, took it off, put it on the charger, fully charged it, popped it back into the Blackmagic, and the Canon was still recording on the same original battery. That's a huge difference. And how long was that time, you ask? So the Canon runs for 2 hours and 49 minutes on one battery. Granted, the Ninja will require its own battery, but the battery I had on the Ninja lasted 2 hours and 15 minutes, so a good chunk of time just on straight recording the entire time. Now that's a huge plus for me being in the backcountry. This battery is gonna last more than 4 times as long in the Canon than it will in the Blackmagic. Now you remember my last video when I said the quality of the Canon is here and the quality of the Blackmagic is here? Well, the difference in battery life way outweighs that quality difference for me, especially now knowing the weight of these setups. Now the difference in battery life in both of these two, the Canon's gonna last way longer, and I think that's gonna beat out the slightly better quality of the Blackmagic. That's a lot more weight that I'm gonna have to carry into the backcountry. Now the other huge thing I'm gonna have to take into consideration is hard drive space, memory cards. So bear with me for a second here because this does get a little bit technical. But the recording data rates on the Blackmagic, if you're recording 6K RAW at 3:1, you're recording about 8.7 gigabytes per minute. If you're recording 6K RAW at 12:1, you're recording at about 3.96 gigabytes per minute. ProRes 4K out of the Blackmagic is at about 5.5 gigabytes per minute. And then ProRes HQ on the Ninja comes in at about 4.6 gigabytes per minute. I know that was a little bit to take in, but I was very curious about how much data was going to be consumed per minute of recording. If I'm shooting a very low quality RAW in the Blackmagic, I can save a little bit of space, but not a whole lot over shooting on the Ninja and ProRes HQ, which, like I said, we've already determined that the quality of each is just so close. They're so close in quality and so close in being able to color grade. Both of these cameras do match very well. I think it's gonna come down to weight and battery life. So for me, that's gonna be huge factors in determining which camera I take with me. Very heavily leaning towards taking the EOS R paired with the Ninja V right now. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really curious, what would you do in this situation? Which camera would you like to take with you? Put that down in the comments, let me know. Let's start a discussion about this. I am really curious of what your thoughts are. Well, that's what I have for you guys today. I really hope this helps you guys out, even if you're just trying to decide on which camera setup you want to purchase. I feel like this is gonna be very helpful. Like I said, if you wanna compare the quality, I'll link that video down in the description and also at the end of this video. If you guys like this video, do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button down there. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.